Hello everyone, welcome to astrologynewsreport.com. Today is March 23rd, 2014.
Presenting an alternate view of world events as seen through the lens of Vedic astrology.
I'm Ron Berger.
And I'm David Anton Savage. Let's take a look at the week that was.
Mars retrograde equals backfire, or boomerang. Putin's takeover of Crimea is having repercussions for Russia, as the USA and European countries try to come up with ways to bring pain to Russia, or more specifically to Putin. The first sanctions were travel restrictions on Russian officials and freezing their assets held in Western banks, and a few days later came sanctions against Russian oligarchs who do big business in the West. Putin's wealthy cronies and supporters in particular have been singled out for special treatment.
Yes, but Putin's not backing down. Hey, you mess with the bear, you just make the bear more angry. Or as one commentator pointed out, Russia lost 8.6 million soldiers in World War II, so they are not likely to be impressed by sanctions, comrade.
All right. And since the planetary energy affects everyone, the United States and the European Union's actions against Russia could also result in more Mars retrograde boomerang effects. For starters, Russia could decide to cut back on pumping their natural gas to Europe,
which could cause a lot of problems for many parts of Europe that get 40% or more of their natural gas from Russia. But that in turn causes problems for Russia, which badly needs the income from selling their natural gas. Mars boomerangs for everyone!
Moving on, Mercury is the planet of data and numbers. Neptune is the planet of illusions and deception. The two were together last week and are still conjunct in the heavens.
The Crimean referendum on joining Russia was a rather improbable 96% yes vote, a percentage not normally seen out of the ballot boxes unless you happen to be in North Korea. But then again, it's fairly well known that most of the Ukrainians and the Tartars living in Crimea simply did not want to lend any legitimacy to this process. Most of them boycotted the voting.
Adding in a little bit of fraud and or intimidation tactics, such results can be achieved for the return to Mother Russia. The likelihood of fraud is also suggested by the fact that even some Russian journalists were forcibly prevented from observing the vote count and had their cameras smashed by officials.
Actually, the vote was really simple. There were two choices, which boiled down to join Russia now or join Russia later. So once again, Mercury is about choosing and Neptune is the illusion. Thus, the choice was only an illusion.
Mercury and Neptune were conjunct last week in Aquarius. That's the planet of rational thinking, plus the planet of fantasy, the planet of data and information, plus the planet of deception. Plenty of examples were in the news last week.
The fate of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 has gone through several official versions over the past 2 weeks. The question is, how much of that was just bad information, and how much of it was Malaysian authorities holding back or covering up what they knew?
And with nothing new to report, the pundits and talking heads took off in full Neptunian mode, postulating all sorts of wild fantasies of what could have happened to flight MH370.
Yes, once again, showing what can happen to Mercury's rationality once Neptune gets your brain unmoored from the restraints of common sense.
Right. Mercury is communications. Neptune represents schemes and subversion. Turkey's President Erdogan, fearful of the effects of social media on Turkey's upcoming elections, has banned Twitter from Turkey's internet in what is being dubbed a digital coup.
And in line with Mars retrograde creating a backfire effect, Erdogan's action has only reinforced suspicions of corruption, turning voters against him, making him even more vulnerable in next week's election.
And on a somewhat lighter note, Mercury is the planet of numbers and choosing. Neptune is illusions and disappointment. The two of them together give us miscalculation. College basketball fans got a taste of Mercury plus Neptune last week when they had their brackets destroyed by the very first games of the NCAA's March Madness season, such as the unexpected defeat of number 6 seed Ohio State Buckeyes by number 11 seed Dayton Flyers.
But it does highlight just how impossible it is to guess all the winning teams through the entire tournament, the odds of which have been pegged at 9.2 quintillion to 1, which is why Quicken Loans, backed by Warren Buffett, have laid $1 billion on the line to anyone who can guess with 100% accuracy. How's that for Mercury's numbers versus total fantasy Neptune?
All right, and so we conclude this week's Review of the Week. Be sure to click in with us next week.